It's funny, when you get these guys, you've been playing in the league so long, Jet. It's funny. You have had, just to name your coaches, you've had Doc Rivers, Rick Carlisle, Terry Stotts, Jason Kidd. You've played with Giannis and Harden and Dirk and Kevin Garnett and Chris Middleton and Paul Pierce. You have had so many experiences in your NBA career. But do you ever remember something like Philadelphia where the star point guard appears to be terrified of the free throw line? I don't know how you solve it. I mean, when you're watching Philadelphia, what do you do if you're the Sixers going forward?
Well, going forward, you have to figure out how to make him confident. I mean, when you talk about free throw shooting, right? We all have the ability to shoot free throws, but there's the innate ability to make free throws and then make them when the pressure's on the line. One, we got to look at his form and technique. Okay, is there that? It doesn't seem like it's a technical issue. This is all between the ears. It's all psychological. There has to be someone on that staff or within that organization that can calm his nerves when he goes up to the line. I mean, it's easier said than done, but I mean, one thing is repetition. That's how we all get great. But the second thing is his psychological warfare that he's having within himself. He has to get up there, relax, block out everything, and just knock them down. They're free. The last time I checked.
Yeah, that's a good point. Jason Terry joining us. So, you know, it's really interesting. It's a younger league than it's ever been. Luka's starring, Trae Young, Zion. Trae Young is fascinating because he came into this league, Jason, and people said he can't defend. He's frail. He's too small. He led college basketball in turnovers. And you look up and you're like, he's what everybody in the league wants. Confident, go-getter, knock him to the floor, great shooter. The first time you saw Trae Young, did you buy into it? I mean, because I went and looked this morning at the draft analysis of it, and there were a lot more weaknesses than strengths. And I'm watching him just take this series over. Are you surprised at all by him?
Well, one thing as a former assistant GM with the Legends in the G League in Frisco is that when you evaluate talent, you got to look at the guy that lines up. And when I looked at Trae Young at the University of Oklahoma, right away I could see at which he played the pace of the game. I knew he was a pro. And then when you watched his ability to create plays and make certain reads out of pick and roll situations, you knew he had things that will make him special. And then you add the range at which he shoots the ball with and the confidence. Now you're talking about superstar potential. Then you fast forward. You go to his career at the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, first year, yeah, it's a little rough. It's a little rocky. He's a rookie. But now he's seen all the competition. He understands how to play within the system and then how to get his game off. And when he does it with flair. He does it with dramatic. And he's confident. To have the confidence to go out in a playoff game and lead your team to victory in the opposing team's arena, I'm talking about in Madison Square Garden on the biggest stage. I mean, this kid is a superstar. I'm so happy for him. I started my career in 99 in Atlanta, was drafted by them, never played a playoff game in that uniform. But I know it's special, not only for him, his teammates, but for the city of Atlanta. It's a football town, baseball town. But now the Hawks are making it their own.
Jason Terry, the Jet, joining us. He's at University of Arizona, beautiful Tucson, Arizona. My buddy Jed Fish is the football coach, so I'm all in on the Wildcats. Great university. You know, Luka, a story today, not happy in Dallas. Zion, a story today, not happy with New Orleans. You have a lifetime of NBA experience. What would you tell Zion and Luka this morning if you could sit them down? Should they want to be out if they sense dysfunction? Should they stay and deal with it? You can waste a lot of years in this league, Jason, if you get the wrong owner, the wrong GM, or the wrong coach. What would you say to Luka and Zion, who are both like kids and both stars and both very unhappy?
Well, the one thing that they have to understand because of the age at which they're at, and, you know, they only been in the league for a small sample size, you got to engulf yourself in what can you do to make yourself better? What can you do to help yourself? If you start to get entrenched in the business of basketball and ownership and management and trying to manipulate and put this coach or that teammate here or there, then you're going to lose a part of what makes you great. When you watch Luka Dončić and Zion play, these guys are phenomenal. They're game changers, I like to call them. And, they're cornerstones of a franchise. And right now, at this particular point of their career, it's about developing their own skill set and getting better. I mean, if you look at Luka Dončić, where does he have room to go? You got to look at his physique and the physical nature of how he's designed and wired. Zion's very similar. I mean, he's muscular, he's strong, but there has to be an endurance factor that he's going to have to go through so he can play a rigorous amount of season and then, have some postseason success. So, for me, it's about them looking within themselves and seeing how they can be better to help the franchise and not what the franchise can do for them because it's still too early. Now, once they get up into their years of Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and LeBron James, then you can start to look at the business side of basketball and think about management and where you would like to go. But I'm telling you, the grass is not always greener on the other side. And those two franchises are positioned right now where they can be the cornerstone and they can have a long, luxurious career. With Luka, he just got to look at Dirk. Dirk was there for 1 year with him. And if he looks at him and allows him to mentor him, he can own that city. The city of Dallas is his.
Jason, the reality, basketball is a unique culture. If I'm scoring, you're not. If I'm a quarterback and I throw a touchdown pass, I get credit for the pass. You get credit for the touchdown catch. We both hit a bonus, and the left tackle gets credit for blocking. He hits a bonus. In basketball, I'm scoring, you're not. And nobody that has a lot of assists get paid. It's a scorer's league. And I look at Brooklyn and I say, man, this thing it's going to be hot, but it may burn out fast. Are you surprised that here's Brooklyn, they've got control of the series, 3 stars, 2 are hurt, and it's just and Steve Nash has never coached. Are you surprised it's kind of worked with all the big personalities thrown together?
Not surprised whatsoever. When you're talking about the Brooklyn Nets and you look at Kevin Durant, like it's hard to say he's underrated, but when you listen to all these talk shows and all these analysts, I mean, he's kind of underrated. Like, they don't give Kevin Durant nearly enough credit. He takes way too much flack for leaving Oklahoma City when he did, right? And leaving and joining Steph Curry. He wanted to be a champion. And he understood if he went to Golden State, he could make his dreams a reality. He did that. And now, later on in his career, he wants to be a champion again. He wants to etch his name in stone as one of the greatest players to ever play this game. And with that performance the other night, I hate to be a guy that says, like, I'm going to judge a guy off one game. But if you watch that performance, like, there was literally nothing the Milwaukee Bucks could do. I know they talked about putting Giannis on him. Okay, put Giannis on him. I mean, LeBron James couldn't guard him in the NBA Finals. So you want to put Giannis on him? Go ahead. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers and forget scoring basketball players that I've ever seen. And you got to remember, on our road to a championship, we're just so grateful and fortunate that Kevin Durant was just a young tyke when we went to Oklahoma City.
Listen, a lot of people are saying there's a bunch of injuries. It's because the NBA rushed back. But of the players that have been hurt so far this year, AD, Embiid, Kawhi, Kyrie, Chris Paul, Nurkic, Mike Conley, it's a lot of dudes that get hurt. I mean, these are guys that have been hurt before. I talked to Gary Payton the other day about this, and he said, he goes, I played 80 games a year, and I had to guard bigger guys, and the league we didn't have like the treatment. We didn't have the trainers. He said, but in the end, I played hurt, and that was the reality of it. He said, but players didn't have the power. So, I mean, the coaching staffs would be on you. You were lifting three hours a day. As players have gotten more power, nobody's going to tell a star player he's got to sit in the weight room for 2.5 hours. And Gary's argument was players now are more skilled than they've ever been. But the reality is the weight training, the practices, the players have more power now. Some of this is guys break down because Anthony Davis, they don't put the time in the room, the off-season room. Your thought on all the injuries to all the stars. Is there one reason, 2 reasons? What's your guess?
Well, I got to believe, and I'm old school, and I played 19 years and only have, I would even call it a major injury, kind of like a knee clean out towards the end of my career. But I think because these guys in the off seasons, they have these maintenance programs. The off season is built to design to push your body to limits that you wouldn't ordinarily go to. So then when you get to the rigors of the seasons, the dog days of January or the postseason when you're deep into May, into June, when you get late into the finals and you're trying to make a push, make a run. Everybody's banged up. But if you've pushed yourself to those limits in the offseason, then your body is more susceptible to being to be able to handle, that type of pounding and those type of rigors. And you don't have those soft tissue type injuries. And so, again, you got to go to these people are so smart now with trying to, what do you want to call it, game manage or, manage these guys' minutes throughout the season. Sometimes you got to go through it to get to it. And I think there's a toughness factor to it. But then again, everybody has a different body type. And so I never was the type of guy to criticize someone on if, their pain threshold, so to speak. I was tough. I was a guy that, man, I wanted to play. I'd have to be physically dead not to go out there and lace them up, especially in the biggest moments of the season. I got to give James Harden a lot of credit because I know hamstrings are sensitive. And he's not going to be the type of player that how dynamic he is with a hamstring type injury. But he got out there. He wielded himself to even be out there in the lineup. So you got to take your hat off to James. And it was good to see.
Jason Terry, finally, you played with Giannis before your career ended. He's a terrific kid. There's things he can do. He is a bit of a liability late in games because of free throws. Have we been unrealistic in our expectations? Or I look at him and I just think, okay, this is what he is. He's great defensively, very long. He plays bully ball. But, outside of 4 feet, he shoots about 33%. He's not the face of the league. He's not LeBron. Let's stop comparing him to great players. He's a tremendous kid, a winning basketball player, but there is a ceiling here. He can be marginalized. You push him away from the basket, he's not the same guy. Do you buy into that, or do you think he's scratching the surface? Or, where are you on Giannis today?
Well, I spent a lot of time with Giannis in his development in Milwaukee my last 2 years of my career. And, watching him, his work ethic and his ability, to pass the ball from all different angles. And then just the uniqueness of his size and his athleticism. He's just now scratching the surface of what he's going to be. And I think, at some time when you're a young superstar going through this league, there has to be failure along the way. And he's going to continue to, have his ups and downs, his bumps and bruises, and he'll go through it. But at the end of the day, he will realize his championship dreams. I don't know if it's going to be this year because when you look at what he's facing, Kevin Durant, if James Harden's out there, Kyrie, it's just a tough road to hoe. And again, as a coach, as a staff, we have to figure out ways to utilize Giannis without him bringing the ball up as a point forward. We have to play him in the post where he has an advantage or in pick and roll situations where Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton are the ball handlers, and we can use Giannis as a roller, put him in the middle of the defense. He can make any pass from there. And like you said, his biggest skill set is 2 feet in the paint, and nobody's going to stop him. So, just from a strategical standpoint, utilizing him a little bit different. But then at the end of the day, guys still have to make shots. Guys still have to make plays. And I just think right now, they have a huge opportunity tonight in Game 6 at home where they play well and they shoot the ball well. But then if they win this one, they still got to go back into Brooklyn. And that's a tough place to play.
Jason Terry, great seeing you. Continued success, assistant coach with the Arizona Wildcats in Tucson. Good talking to you, my man. Appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate you. What's up, Joy? We didn't give you no love. Good to see you.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.